Hey, it's Steve at Raybucks, and I got the 73 F350 here behind me. So I'm getting ready to replace the weather stripping and the doors. We already did, if you watched one of the other videos, the actual door weather stripping that goes around the whole perimeter of the door. Actually, it mounts on the cab, but it seals the door to the cab. So today I'm working on the belt lines, which are what go on the inside and the outside of the actual window, the glass run channel, which goes around here, and then the wing vent window weather stripping. This isn't anything new. I mean, people do this all the time, but I figured I'm doing it, so I'll just show you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to probably do it a little bit differently than what some people do, and I'll explain that. And it's mostly going to be because of the wing vent. The correct way to do the wing vent is once you take this out, and I'll show you how the whole assembly comes out of there. There's a rivet in the front, and that's what actually the window pivots on. You're supposed to drill that out, redo the rivet, reset the rivet, or put a new rivet in there when you're done. I don't feel like going through all of that, so I'm literally just going to take this out. I'm going to make 2 slices in the new weather stripping, and I'm going to work around that and put it in there. Again, this is a budget build. I'm not going for anything like show quality. I did something similar to this on the 53 because I wanted to keep that original look of that kind of sort of weathered rivet in there, and I really just didn't feel like redoing the rivet. So Walt actually redid this the correct way on his K10, and he said it was a real pain. It turned out really nice, but it was a real pain. I don't want to go through that. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to show you what the inside looks like. We're going to show you what the original weather stripping. I'm assuming this is original weather stripping. It's 50 years old. Weather stripping, when you're getting ready to replace it, a lot of times you could peel the old stuff out. This is very hard and brittle, and I'm putting a screwdriver down or a pick down in there, and it's breaking apart in little teeny chunks. So it is really, really bad. The wing vent isn't quite as bad. It still has a little bit of rubber feel to it, but everything around the window looks pretty bad. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you the new pieces we have. These are from Precision Replacement Parts. We have similar ones from Metro Molded Parts as well. I'll put links to all of that below the video in case you are interested in any of that. The one that we have from Precision was a whole kit. So I got a kit to do the whole cab. And I'll show you what some of that looks like. It's sitting over here on the one seat, but it comes with all the pieces. It'll all be numbered and labeled. The only thing that's a little bit tricky is the belt line, because you're going to have 4 pieces, 2 for each door. So you have an outside and an inside. Those are a little bit different. So I'll show you what those look like, so you know when you're putting them in, so you don't end up with 2 insides and 2 outsides or whatever, where you have the outside and the inside and vice versa. So anyway, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to show you what all this looks like. We'll show you what the kit looks like, and then I'm going to explain the process. Essentially what we're going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inside door panel off to make it a little bit easier to access everything. We're going to get the whole wing vent assembly unscrewed and unbolted so it's loose. We're going to take the window off the track and leave it down in the door. Then we're going to take the wing vent assembly out to make it a little bit easier to work with. Replace the seals, those seals like the glass run seals, put it back in, and do the belt line, and then get the window back on the track. So I'm going to show you what all this looks like right now, and then we'll get to it. Okay, so here are the belt lines. You can see here, like it's starting to peel away. If you can see in here, it's cracked, and you'll see again when I take that off. Actually, I have the other ones. I did the other side already. I'll show you what those look like. If you could see in here, look at the glass run. There's a whole chunk that's missing right there. It just cracked out, and this is hard. It's hard as a rock. So all the way around, that's pretty hard. There's a section up here that's missing. This is all hard and brittle. It's starting to fall apart. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see some of the cracks. And then again, we have this section around the wing vent. It has a little bit of ply to it, but it's not great. So we're going to take all that out, replace it. Here are the belt lines from the other side. So you can see there's not a whole lot left. Like the rubber actually came off of this. It's just a metal strip on the inside. It's cracked. It's all falling apart. Obviously these were doing nothing. So I have pieces of the new kit. So I have the new belt lines that are here. Actually, we'll just stick them down here on the ground so you can see what they look like. And if you have ever felt a belt line around like on a newer vehicle, you know it's kind of fuzzy. It has that soft, pliable feel to it. So we have both of those. So what you're going to notice, if I flip these up, you can see there's the curved end. This is the part on the back side of the door that actually curves up with the window a little bit. So if I turn those up, we'll see if we can get, a slightly better angle of these. You'll see the one out here has like this bit of a rubber like the sweep to it, and the other one doesn't. So the one that has the rubber on it is your outer belt line, and the one that does not, this one that just has essentially all felt on it, is going to be your inner belt line. So this inner one just kind of like cleans the inside of the glass, or provides that air seal, and then this outer one is all rubber, which will keep the water out, or the majority of the water out, so it doesn't go down in your door. So one with the rubber outer, one with just the felt is your inner. Here we have the new wing vent rubber. Again, this one's all one piece. It's meant to go in with the window out of the unit. I'll show you that when we take it out. Again, I'll show you where I'm going to split. I'm going to essentially cut it down here and cut it at the top. And then we have the glass run. So with Precision, it came like this. It was the kit. And then if you look, it tells you the different components, and then what that particular component is. So we had the door seals, inner and outer belt lines, upper channel, etc. So this piece here is going to be our front glass run, and then this one, I'll show you when I take it out, is going to be the piece that goes all the way up around the window. So the top of the window and then down the side. And there is a certain way to put this in, because there's a shorter section. You'll see there's a slit in it, and then a longer section. I'll show you that when I take it out of the bag. Okay, so if I lay this out, I know you can't see the whole thing, but I wanted to show you where it is kind of slit, or there are a bunch of slits in it. So it looks like this. So it gets at the bend. So there's a section that's shorter from that area to the end, and a section that's longer. So the section that's shorter is going to be from this corner up to the front of the door. So it's going to go in like this, and then the longer section is going to go here all the way down in. And I'll show you how to get that down in there. So you can do some of this with the inner door panel on, but it doesn't even make sense to try to do that because it's so much easier when you take it off. So in order to take this off, you're going to take the screw out of the window crank. There's going to be another one right behind the door latch, and there are two screws right inside here, so you just take those out. The rest of it is just clips. So there are a handful of clips that look like this metal clip, that go around the perimeter. So there's going to be one in each corner, there's going to be one in the center, and I think there's one down the side. So you got three, another three, so 6, and then 7, 8. I think there's like 8. So we'll see when we take it off. All I'm going to do is take one of these little pry tools. I'm going to get in behind it, just kind of work it a little bit and pop it. You'll feel it pop out, and then just I'm going to work my way around it. So I'm going to take these screws out first, take the handle off. This handle will come off, and then I'll work around and take the clips out. This bottom piece is separate, so when we're taking this out, we're literally just taking out the plastic panel that's in the middle of the door. So this is what it looks like when I took the panel off. Unfortunately, this panel did not cooperate like the other side did. You can see here how this fastener came out, but a lot of these stayed in there, and they broke the inside of the door panel. So here is essentially what it should look like, either like that or like that. Now, a lot of them look like this. The plastic was so brittle, they just cracked. So I'm going to have to get some different fasteners and make something work. Fun. Take the spring off here, take this sheet off. I'll just set this back here, and that's what the inside of the door looks like. So the next thing I'm going to do is take out this bolt, and up on top you have 3 screws. I'm going to take those out, and that's what holds the wing vent in place. Once that's loosened up, we'll be able to take the window that's in here off this track and set it down in there. So I'll show you what that looks like. You literally just lift the window up and start tilting it forward, and this little section, this groove here, will come off of the wheel. So it slides out, and then you can just gently set it down into the door, and then it'll be out of the way. And once that's done, then the whole wing vent assembly will come out. I'll show you how to do that. You essentially just lift it, slowly rotate it, and as you're bringing it out, you twist it, and then there's a clip you have to watch, or a like an L piece at the bottom you have to watch so you don't catch it up here. Actually, I may end up taking this belt line out first to make it a little bit easier, and then I'll take that assembly out. So I have the two nuts taken off here. By the way, these are 7/16. So the heads on those are 7/16. I have the 3 screws out of the top of this. Now the wing vent assembly is loose. So that's done. Since that is loose, I can now lift this window up and slide it forward. So I'll be able to slide it forward. Again, take it off of that wheel and then just set it down into the door. So I'm going to grab it, slide it, tilt it up a little bit, get it off there, and then set it down in. And this is what it looks like when it's off the track. So again, just slid it forward, down. When you're sliding it forward, you're going to want to tilt the wing vent assembly forward a little bit, so that, because this part of this assembly goes all the way down. It's the track that the glass runs down. So if you tilt that forward, the window will come out of it. You could push the window towards the outside of the door, and then that will allow you to tilt the whole thing and slide it off of that wheel. Now that's done, we have access to the belt line, and we're going to pop that out. So these belt lines just clip in. This is one of the old ones. So if you can see that, that's one of the clips. So these clips just go in there. So all you really have to do is get a flathead screwdriver, or if you have a little pick tool, that'll work, and put it down in here and start working your way out. I'm going to start from the back and pop that off. If you want to be safe, you should put some tape along the edge of this paint just so you don't chip it. This is fine. I'm not worried about this truck, and I don't think I'm going to chip it anyway, but I would put, if you have something a little bit nicer, I would put painter's tape across the front or the outside and the inside of this. So I'm going to get a screwdriver and start working this out. So now I got the screwdriver sort of down in there. Might be able to see there's one of the clips. If I work it and wiggle it a little bit, it's just going to eventually pop out of there. This one's pretty well rusted. And I'm going to work across. Just kind of pushing down and twisting a little bit. You can hear the rust kind of falling off of this. If it wasn't so rusted, it would probably just have snapped out by now. But you can see right down in there, there's one of those clips. So I'm going to just work my way across. It'll be easier with 2 hands. So I'm going to put the camera down. I'm going to pop these off. Okay, so I have these most of the way off on the outer one. What I should have said, or should have made note of, is the way that these clip in. They do kind of like clip over and down. So if you have a little pick, if you have a little pick, this one's too big, but if you had a smaller version of this, you could go underneath of it and just give it a little pull up and twist in like this, and it'll pop that out. So that's how it works. These ones again are pretty rusted, so they're kind of just breaking apart. I'm going to roll those in right now, and then we'll get to the inside. So with them both out, you can see, I'll try to get in here, you can see the little grooves, the little holes that they clip into. So there's a couple of those along there, so you just clip them right in. Once we get to the new ones, we'll do that. We're going to do the inside one first. Once we get to the belt line, but we're going to do the glass run first. Once that's all done, though, we're going to do the inside belt line and then the outer belt line. Doing it that way just because the inside is a little bit thinner, so we can put that on, and that'll give us room to get to the outside one. Now I'm going to take the wing vent window out, so you can see it freely moves. We're just going to start to tilt this forward like that, and then we'll slowly, if I can do it with one hand, slide it out until we get to the end here. You can see there's that little like L bracket that's on there. That's a little tricky. I need 2 hands for this, so I'm going to set the camera down, but you just have to wiggle it a little bit and then roll it, like twist it, and it'll come right out. So there's the assembly taken out. This is that little, this is that little bracket on the end. So that's all out. So we're going to take the weather stripping out of the channel, and then I'll take the weather stripping probably off around the window itself, and then I'm also going to go up through this glass run channel that runs all the way around it, and I'm going to take that out right now. Again, normally you should just be able to pull that right out, but this is really brittle, so it's going to crack into a million pieces. So I'm going to take that out. I'll show you what a few seconds of that looks like, and then I'm going to put my safety glasses on and start just chipping this out. So here's the section that was already broken out. I'm going to put a little pick in there, just start working it. You could hear it and see it. Now keep in mind, this originally was rubber and it was pliable, so it should just pop right out, but it is not. So what should have taken about 30 seconds to get out is going to take a little bit longer, but it'll come out. So there you go. I'm going to work my way around this. I'm going to bust it all out. We do the same thing along the wing vent assembly because it is completely like petrified. Not quite that bad, but it is really bad. So I'm going to get that out and then I'll show you how to put the new stuff in. This is what the channel looks like clean with the old weather stripping taken out. It looks like that all the way down through the door. And there is the old pile of weather stripping, which is ridiculous. Like, don't know if I've ever seen one break apart that badly. Really, there wasn't anything that was pliable. It just shattered when I touched it. So that's something. So now I'm going to put the new glass run into the vertical section of the wing vent window. This is, if you're interested in part numbers, again, I'll have it posted below. GRB211073. So when you take it out of the bag, it's very pliable. You can see that. So one side, if you can see, is cut like this. The other side is cut straight across. So if you look at the top of the wing vent, it's pretty obvious. This goes in up here. So what we're going to do is, there's a little nub at the bottom here. You can see it right there. We're going to just simply pinch this together and then slide it into that track and then work it all the way up the track. And then once that's in, I'm going to get the little weather stripping tool and just kind of run it up the center to make sure it's seated. And that's it. I mean, that's really all you have to do. There's no adhesives, nothing else you need. This just purely sits in the little groove. You can see the end profile, if you could sort of see that. Sorry, it's not the best picture or video. You can see these two little lips on either side. We'll clip it into the track. So I'm going to set that in there. I'll run the tool up through it and then I'll show you what it looks like, but it's essentially going to look like this inside of that. Okay, so I'm going to take the end of it, I'm going to squeeze it, slide it in there, and then slowly work it in, just like that. You can see how it's setting in there. I'm going to do that all the way up to the top. Now that that glass run is in there, I'm getting ready to do the rubber seal around the window itself, which is part number, let's see if I can zoom in, this VWL211073. If you were doing this the quote correct way, what I was talking about before, this is the rivet that you would want to drill out. I think on the Precision website they tell you even the size drill bit you would need to get that out with. And then on the bottom of the window frame, if I could balance this on my leg here, on the bottom of the window frame there's a rod, a threaded rod that comes out, and there's a nut on it and this spring. You take the nut off. Obviously this needs to be lubricated first, but I'm not taking it out. But you would take that nut off, spring comes out, assuming you already drilled the rivet out, this whole glass assembly would come out. Then it would let you put this one-piece seal in place, and then you reverse the order and put the window in. Again, I don't want to do that because it's a complete pain in the butt, so I am leaving the glass in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little slice on the inside of the new seal. That'll let the seal wrap around this rod from the outside. So I'm going to take the old weather stripping off of the vent window. So I'm just going to kind of pry this apart a little bit here, peel it back. You can see it, this one actually comes apart, not too horribly. Flip it over, pull this out. if it wants to come out. This doesn't want to come out here. So I'm going to get this out. I'm going to cut it. Actually, I got to cut right here anyway to get it around this this bolt. Actually, I'll just do that right now. And then once I do this, I should be able to get it around the window. There we go. And that should be it. If I get it out of this top section here, there we go. So it's out. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put this in. If you look on the bottom of this, if you could see it, there's like a little lip on either side of the main groove. That will go over top of the channel that is around the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some foaming glass cleaner and spray all this to lube it up. This works really well. There's a lubricant to put it in, and then it will evaporate, so it's not like putting an oil or a solvent or anything on it. So I'm going to get that in here, and then I'm going to start working it around the frame of the window and get it in. Okay, so I have a little slice on the inside of the seal, right down where that stud is. If you look on the back side of this, you can see there is a groove, or there's a section that will pop right into the groove around here, and there's two little lips on either side of this groove that will flip around the outside of this groove and make that seal. If you were installing this or any other type of weather stripping, you need a little bit of maybe lubricant to help get it into place. I suggest using some spray foam invisible glass, or any sort of like foaming glass cleaner. You just spray it along the edge of the weather stripping. It'll act as a lubricant, and it'll evaporate. So it's not going to sit in there like an oil or a penetrant, or affect the rubber itself. So I'm not going to do that for right now. I'm just going to try to put this on. We're going to see how it goes. One of the things that I did on the back side of the frame, or the top of the frame, one of the mounts that the screw goes through the door and mounts to, there are two screws here with 1/4-inch heads. I took those off, and it's going to let me just pry this metal out a little bit from the frame, which is going to give me a little bit more room to get the weather stripping up into this corner. Once it's in there, then I'll pull it back together and put the bolts back in place. So we're going to see how this goes. So I'm going to start around this center post, because that's where it's cut out, and then I'll start working my way around from there. Here, I'll try to show you so you can see. As it starts going in, you'll see there's the rubber on this side and the rubber on this side, so it's kind of overlapping both sides of this. Okay, so I have the weather stripping set up into the corner. I put my two little bolts back into place, and now I'm going to start working down the outside edge and across the bottom. Actually, I'm going to do this bottom section first, and then I should be able to just pop this section in that the window just presses up against. I can't say how many times I say this. I know you probably didn't hear it on camera. Like, just how bad of a design some of this stuff was. Back in the 60s, 70s, whatever, we say it, Walt said it on his truck. Like, I just don't understand why some of this stuff was done this way, because it's definitely not meant for replacement, but or ease of replacement, but whatever. It is what it is. So I'm going to start working my way across up, and then hopefully this will be done here shortly. Okay, this lower section is in, so I'm going to start working my way up. If you could see it, maybe there's this little lip right here. It just needs to get tucked in behind here, and that really is all that holds this vertical piece, vertical portion of this in place. Okay, so there we go. It's all in. That is a complete pain, just like everything else on these trucks. This took me a good 45 minutes to an hour to get this piece in here. Again, I did the other side, but I did it in the door. This time I was doing it outside of the door, which I definitely recommend doing it outside the door. This was easier than doing it when it was in. So that's it. I'm going to close this thing up, see how it seals. Not too bad. Looks like I might have to make a little bit of a tweak somewhere up in here. It's not sitting flush. It's not really sitting flush down in this section, but also that could be, oh, I see, never mind. The rubber's binding up in here. Yep, pulled it over. So I'm going to take this out, fix that. I bet it sits flush after that. And then once this thing sits out in the sun for a little bit, gets a little heat on it, or if I take a heat gun to it, that'll make everything kind of fit and snug up, and then we're good to go. So I'm going to fix this, and then I'm going to put this in, and then we'll get to the belt line. Okay, I'm going to put the wing vent assembly back into the door. I'm going to take this little piece here that I was saying, that little L piece, slide it or twist it down in there. That's what I was saying earlier. If you really cared about the paint, I would tape along both sides of this. I'm just going to be a little careful. I'm going to hold the outside of this, or the upper part of it. I'm going to twist this down in until it kind of snaps into place. Give it a little squeeze, and it's down in there. When you rotate it, bring it up, set it into place. That's that. So that's in there. I'm going to get, I'll tilt this up a little bit. I'm going to get the screws and put them back in up here. Later, I'm just going to put one in for right now just to hold this in place. And then I'm going to put the glass run channel around, and then the belt lines. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, so here's the glass run channel. Again, I'll put this down in there somewhere. You can see there's the part number for it. But as I was saying earlier, if you look on the back side of this, you're going to see these little grooves. I don't know if you could really see them all that well right there. So from those grooves to one end is going to be shorter. That's going to be for the top. The other side, the longer piece, is going to go down into the side of the door. So all I'm going to do is flip this over. You just give it a little pinch like this. You can see that little pinch. And then you're going to just tuck it up in there. So we're going to start all the way up here against the wing vent, and then we're going to work our way down and around and down into the door. Okay, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to tuck it up into the track. You can just kind of work it in with your fingers if you want. It just kind of snaps into place. Make sure you get it up in the corner nice and tight so it doesn't want to pull down. I'm going to take the little tool and run it up in there. Make sure that's in. And then I'm going to start working my way down the side of the door. and then down in. Now again, when you get down into the door itself, you may want to spray the back side of this with a little bit of lubricant. Again, it could be just the window cleaner or whatever, just so you can get it tucked down in there. It makes it a little bit easier to work with, so you're not fighting it. This actually isn't too bad since I have the window out. I can get my hand sort of in there. I know you can't see it, but I'm just getting my hand down in there, and that's it. I just pushed it in place and I can feel it go all the way into the track. So next, I'm going to do the belt lines. I'm going to do the inner belt line first, then the outer belt line. And then when that's done, we're going to put the window back on the track, bolt the rest of the wing vent assembly in, and then crank it and see how it goes. Okay, I'm going to start with the inner belt line. You'll notice they have these little clips on the back that are integrated. There's holes right along the inside and the outside edge that they snap into. Now, one thing I noticed on this truck, and I don't know why this is, the one clip, the second one in, does not line up. It was about 3/4 of an inch off. I just pulled it off. If you want, you probably could take it off. They're just like a squeeze on type fitting. You could move it and probably squeeze it back in there and get it to go in. I just took it off. I didn't care that much. But I'm going to snap these on, and then I'll show you how easy it is to put in. Okay, so I'm going to start with the back one. I'm going to line that hole up, and then I got the other ones lined up, and I'm going to just start squeezing. You can hear it snap. You get these ones to snap in, and that's it. That is the inside belt line. And then I'm going to do the outside. Same thing. I'm going to start from the back side of the door, get that lined up, and then just snap these ones into place. I'm going to actually make sure that these are open enough. Yep. Okay. Get that pushed down in there. Okay, and that is it. I'm going to just work across there one more time just to push on it. I see this one's a little loose, so I'm going to work it in there. But that's it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the window reset onto that guide and get it into the tracks. And then once it's in the tracks, I'm going to re-bolt the bottom of the wing vent assembly in, and then we'll crank it up and down and see how it works. Okay, so I have the screws back in up here. I have the 2 bolts down in the front or the lower portion of the wing vent assembly. Got the glass seated. I loosely just put the crank on. We're going to give it a shot and see what it does. Ooh, it feels actually pretty nice. And there you go. Seal it all the way around. Looks good. Belt lines are looking real good. I'm saying that's done, so that looks great. Again, not the worst project in the world. Other than this wing vent, and I also just realized after I put this in that I'm a moron and I cut the outside instead of the inside. The other side, I did a nice little trim on the inside portion of it, wrapped around. You don't even see it now. I got it on the outside, which is very frustrating. In my rush, I looked at the window backwards and cut the wrong side. So I'm going to put a little bit of 3M weather strip adhesive on there just to like seal that little bit up, just so it doesn't pull apart and it looks a little bit better. But if you took your time, it would have worked out just fine. Could have done the inside. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to put the inside door panel and everything back on. I'm not going to bore you guys with the details on that. But that's it. If you have any questions about the different parts, again, look, there's going to be a link or links below this in the description, the video description. So that's all in there. So all these parts will be listed. And if you have any questions about the whole process or about any of the weather strip or anything, feel free to comment. Thanks for watching.